Okay. Heavenly Father, we just come to you and ask you to be with us here today. Father, we know that there's some important things that you would have us to know right now. Father, to be aware of, and also, Father, to give a message of a loud cry. Babylon the Great is fallen, is fallen. And certainly, Father, there is a lot of talk of making countries and cities and nations great again. And Father, we want to understand this in light of your word. And we just pray these things in Jesus' name and thank you. Amen. All right, guys, before we start, in the Bible, just quickly, you might remember the story of Nebuchadnezzar, the great Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. And in Daniel chapter 4, he was filled up with pride and he claimed something about the kingdom that he had built. It says in verse 30, the king spake and said, is not this great Babylon that I have built, the house of my kingdom? Now, certainly, when we have a president that's coming in saying, let's make America great again, obviously there is some type of pride here that is exuding. And I really believe that it's not about necessarily making America great, but it's about making Babylon great. And I'm going to explain how this all works and how this just connects to Bible prophecy. And what's happening right now is all connected to Bible prophecy, and you're going to be just, your eyes are going to be open today if you haven't had them already opened, but it's happening so quickly. And I'm going to share with you some things that are happening right now. Now, some of you may be aware of immigration issues going on right now. And of course, Trump is going to fix things, they say, and he's declared executive orders that would actually fix things at the border and shut down the aid and the waste and all the stuff that's going to this immigration problem. And he's going to make America great again by doing this. And of course, in this, he's going to make it illegal for you not to carry an ID. But this ID system is going to shock you here today. You're definitely going to see some things that I think that maybe you didn't understand before, that you thought that maybe we got rid of when we got rid of the left and Biden and all these other things that were happening. But I think that they're all working together for this same system. As some of you might know, Biden, when he was in, there was a problem created. And this problem, well, had to do with, let's just open the border and let a bunch of immigrants across. And this wasn't just a problem that happened in America, but this is a worldwide problem. This happened in France and all kinds of other nations. We're going to talk about what happened over there shortly because they want to make Europe great again. And this is an amazing thing, as I'll come to here shortly. But they created a problem. And sometimes they create the problem, and that's what they do is they run both sides, the Jesuits, a lot of these elites. And so if they create a problem, they can get you to cry and have a reaction. Hey, you know what, guys? This is a real problem here. We got to get rid of this problem. How are we going to fix this problem? And you know what they do? They come up with the solution. And sometimes they plan these things many years in advance. And I'm going to share with you what the solution is to this immigration problem and all this money waste and all this other stuff that's going on. Because you create the problem and now you've got the reaction, you got the people on your side, and now you bring in a solution. And I really believe that we might be getting behind something that seems good, looks good to the eyes, just as the fruit in the Garden of Eden. But the reality is this fruit has some poison in it. And I'm going to share with you what that poison is today. You're going to see, and it's an eye-opener as we look at it. But will Trump's executive order concerning immigration require Americans to carry ID or face arrest? Well, it might be even worse than that. And some of you might remember Adolf Hitler. Papers, please, in Nazi Germany, you were required to carry your papers. There was no privacy anymore. There was no freedom. Freedom was gone. They gave up their freedoms and their liberties for security. And one way in which we might be doing this, well, it might come down to AI, artificial intelligence. And this is actually something that took place this week with regards to Tony Blair and the World Government Summit they had. And in this World Government Summit, somebody was invited who was given $500 billion by Donald Trump. His name is Larry Ellison. Some of you may be familiar with Larry Ellison. I'll come to Larry Ellison. I'll explain a little bit more as we continue here. But this is what they want to do, is bring all the data together. Let's just listen carefully to what they're talking about.
All of that data, and right now countries' data is fragmented. The problem is it's not like go to this database and here's all the data about my country. It's go to this 3,000 databases and here's all the information about my country. So but we know how to do that. You can pipe this data from these 3,000 separate data sources into a single unified database. And that's what we need to do. We need to layer on top of all of this fragmented data that we have about all this information we have about our country. And we need to take that and unify that into a single database. So when we ask questions, the data model has all the information it needs to answer the question, discover the insight, and recommend an action.
So what are they going to do? He wants them to bring the data together. Now listen carefully. I'm going to share with you about Larry Ellison here in a second, because the idea is to bring in a security and a monitoring system that basically monitors your every move. But they're going to have every piece of ID and data about you and on you, so they can basically monitor and control you. But I want to get to where this all leads to, because all of that data right now, somewhere. Data is Let's just go on here.
If you want to
listen carefully,
improve population health, you have to take all of your healthcare data, your diagnostic data, your electronic health records, your genomic data. And in the Middle East, in the UAE, for example, they're incredibly rich in data. They have a lot of population data. The NHS in the UK has an incredible amount of population data, but it's fragmented. It's not easily accessible by these AI models. We have to take all of this data we have in our country and move it into a single, if you will, unified data platform. So we provide context. When we want to ask a question, we've provided that AI model with all the data they need to understand our country. So that's the big step. That's kind of the missing link. We need to unify all of the national data, put it into a database where it's easily consumable by the AI model, and then ask whatever question you like. We can deliver on.
Keep in mind, the idea of all this is to eliminate waste. And what is being brought into America to eliminate all the waste right now? Eliminate all the waste right now. Doge. Department of Government Efficiency, right? Efficiency. They want efficiency in America. Elon Musk, okay? We're going to connect some things together here, because Elon Musk is building AI robots and all kinds of stuff, and he's big time into AI, but perhaps he's also saying something about AI that's going to happen. But let's
deliver healthcare at a much lower cost. I mean, not only do we get much better outcomes,
lower costs,
but by early diagnosis, better therapeutics, better population health, and we can get all of that as long as countries will put their data, their healthcare data, all of it, in a single place where we can use AI to help manage the care of all of the patients and the population at large. We can deliver a very, very high quality service. But that's also true of a variety of social services, not just healthcare. If we're having supplementary housing, and we can do it, and we can also eliminate all of the fraud.
Okay, so eliminate the fraud, get rid of the waste, stop the waste is basically government efficiency. And what is America doing right now? They have a Department of Government Efficiency. They want to make America great again by eliminating this waste, and also, of course, cutting down on immigration. Immigration is a problem because there are illegal immigrants coming in. And this isn't just something that is going on in America. Who he's talking to is the world government leaders, such as Europe right now. They want to make Europe great again. I'm going to share how this all works together, and that these things that included in this making Europe great again have to do with eliminating waste, the illegal immigration, and of course, it's going to be an ID system that's going to come in. I'm going to share with you more here as we continue. But just keep this in mind. This is Donald Trump cutting funding to stop illegal aliens, eliminating waste, DOGE, right? Department
Sir,
of
this is an
Government
executive
Efficiency.
order entitled Protecting the American People Against Invasion, which again deals with the southern border and the unprecedented admission of illegal aliens across the southern border.
Now, if you read on the screen there, it's an executive order to tighten immigration laws, restrict federal funds, but also bring in government ID. And I'll talk about this as we continue. There's an ID system, a smart ID that is coming in with all this. And federal funds. Remember, government waste, Department of Government Efficiency. Who's working on this? Of course, you know, Elon Musk
Sir,
is big in this. But Musk's DOG is granted access to U.S. Medicare and Medicaid system. Well, what was it about? It was about health. It was about, hey, we need to bring all this data into one database concerning their health, right? So it's not just Elon Musk, but it's Elon Musk with Larry Ellison, AI working together, two big giants in regards to AI. And just keep it in mind, Oracle's Ellison calls for governments to unify data to feed AI. It says upgrading government digital infrastructure could help identify wastage and fraud. There you go, waste and fraud, right? Ellison said, IT systems used by the U.S. government are so primitive that it makes it difficult to identify. Vast amounts of fraud, he added, pointing to efforts by Elon Musk's team at the Department of Government Efficiency to weed it out. So are you catching the connection here? These two men, Elon Musk and Larry Ellison, billionaires who almost control half of the world's money, right, themselves, two of the richest men in the world, working together to push an AI infrastructure. Now, let's just consider what this AI infrastructure is going to involve, because remember, Elon Musk owns and bought Twitter. Twitter is known as a free speech platform, right? But I don't think it's going to be free speech for very long. And I'm going to share with you how this is going to come to an end very soon, okay? There's going to be a little bit of some change somewhere. And all they need is, of course, the right catastrophe to bring in a new world order, right? They say that, they talk about that, but I think that something's coming here very soon. Trump says he's open to TikTok sale to Elon Musk or Larry Ellison, right? And he actually wanted them to buy it together, to go in together, to buy TikTok as well. So it's not just going to be Twitter, it's going to be TikTok. Larry Ellison controlling TikTok. Now, I'm going to share with you a little bit about why this might not be good, because, you know, you can see the AI coming out with Twitter. You can see the AI coming out with Larry Ellison and other things. Let's just keep going. Billionaire Larry Ellison says a vast AI-fueled surveillance system can ensure citizens will be on their best behavior. So Larry Ellison, do you think he believes in free speech and freedom of movement and freedom of anything? He wants a giant AI-fueled surveillance system. Surveillance everywhere. This is like China. He wants to turn America into China. And it says Ellison's company, Oracle, like most every company these days, aggressively pursuing opportunities in the AI industry. It already has several projects in the works, including one in partnership with Elon Musk's SpaceX. You see again the connections. Larry Ellison, Elon Musk. So Larry Ellison is talking about stopping government waste. We can bring in this new Medicare system and help fix everything. And Elon Musk is getting access to all the Medicare and Medicaid and everything like that. And what is it going to do? Oh, to prevent government waste, Department of Government Efficiency, right? So Oracle's Larry Ellison says that AI will someday track your every move. And he's working together with Elon Musk. Now consider these men working together, because Trump recently announced a $500 billion AI investment. And who is he investing this money in?
President Trump's first full
Listen
day back
carefully.
in office included a major announcement about artificial intelligence that'll bring jobs to Texas. The president stood next to the CEOs of OpenAI, Oracle, and SoftBank to announce a $500 billion project called Stargate. The project would build new data centers and electricity generation needed to power AI. Texas will serve as a launch point, with the first of the data centers being built in Abilene. The goal for Stargate is to create 100,000 new jobs here in the United States.
Oh, so it sounds like it's a good thing then. $500 billion invested in Stargate, Trump announces an AI investment here. $500 billion. Now, to track your every move is ultimately what Oracle is going to do. Oracle, Stargate, we'll come back to that in a second, because consider what a Stargate is. When you go to the Bible, you'll find that the word stars implies angels. Remember Revelation chapter 12 and verse 3. Let's just consider this carefully. Revelation 12, verse 3 says, "There appeared another wonder in heaven. Behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads, 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads, and his tail drew a third part of the stars from heaven and did cast them to the earth." So this dragon brings a third part of the stars. Now, if you go down to verse 9, it says, "The great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceives the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him." Stars are angels. And he brought a third of the angels, deceived a whole third of the angels, and brought them to the earth. Now, when you go to Revelation 1:20, you'll find the mystery of the 7 stars, which you saw in my right hand. The 7 stars are the angels of the 7 churches. So when you're opening up a gate, a star gate, that's what it is, a stargate. It's an opening. AI is an opening for the star. Some people say, oh, I don't know, I know how this software is made. I know it was just the program's just thrown into AI and everything else. There's no way there's any demon or demonic influence involved. Yeah, that's like knowing what kind of wood a Ouija board is made of and saying, oh, I know it was made of good oak trees and I know how it works and stuff like that. Yeah. No, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay. If a demon can get control of a little thing that goes across a board to the A, to the B, to the C, to the D, and use and type letters on a Ouija board, it can have no trouble getting involved in this in regards to AI, Chat GPT, and all this other stuff. And it's not all about, oh yeah, they just input all the data and stuff like that. There is spirits behind it. Some of you have seen some of the stuff that I've shared before with regards to his name is he was from Montreal. I'm trying to remember his name. And Roger Morneau, thank you. Roger Morneau, he was down in the basement where he was going through an area and he heard a bunch of typewriters typing. And he walks into the room, and these typewriters are all going by themselves, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And the guy says, these are the spirits. They're angels, fallen angels that are typing out movie scripts and making people rich, or typing out books and making people billions of dollars. And the people take credit for it, writing songs for the musicians or whatnot. This is what the spirits do. And then he says, how much money did you make this year? Oh, well, I made, triple 6 digits or whatever it was. Right. And yeah, how do they get that money? Because they sold their souls to the devil. The devil makes a lot of promises. He says, all these kingdoms I'll give you if you'll bow down and worship me. So what are they doing? Stargate, opening a Stargate. Consider it again carefully. Listen, this is what they're calling a very exciting project.
You look even better. Thank you, Mr. President. One of the most exciting things we're working on, using the tools that Sam and Masa are providing, is a cancer vaccine. It's very interesting. It turns out, I'll be quick, all of our cancers, cancer tumors, little fragments of those tumors float around in your blood. So you can do early cancer detection. If you can do it using AI, you can do early cancer detection with a blood test. And using AI to look at the blood test, you can find the cancers that are actually seriously threatening the person. So
does anybody remember those little tests where you stuff a thing up your nose and stuff, and you had to push this stuff into your nose and then they'd come out and then they'd put it under a microscope and they'd test it, and you wouldn't be sick at all, but suddenly you had problems. You had COVID. You need to be locked up in a room. You were a potential virus that could happen and basically kill everybody, right? Kill grandma and grandpa and all your friends and family and everything like that. That's what we're going to go through again. But these tests, a little different. He's going to give you the exact, it's going to give you some kind of poison or pharma that's going to help you. And it's going to help you because it's going to be just made just for you. And guess what? It might have some of those little particles, which are basically computer particles. What do they call them? The little particles that move around and stuff like that. And people who got the last shots, some of them you can get an IP address on them and stuff like that. That's how much computer stuff they're putting inside of these things. Graphene oxide, nanotech, nanoparticles. Yeah, thank you for those. That's exactly what they're doing. So this is what's happening. And guess what AI works through? It works through computers. It works through nanotech. That's what it works through. So AI has to be able to, it can communicate through what's in your blood, through what's in your body, or whatever is in your body. So this is what they're doing. This is their very exciting mRNA project. They're building and starting to build power plants in Texas, starting in Texas, and then they're going to build them all around America because they need the power, the excessive power. They're going to need the 6G network and all this other stuff that's coming in. They're going to move into that next, and that's why they're getting $500 billion to start. Not 500 million, 500 billion. This is not no small project here. This is, and Stargate AI could help create cancer mRNA pharmacia, Oracle CEO Larry Ellison says. Now, consider carefully, Oracle started as a CIA project, and I talked about AI. I talked about the head of that and who's behind that and the Jesuits and things like that. I've shared some of that before. I'm not going to go into that today, but CIA, basically the Catholic Intelligence Agency, if you understand it. But they believe that this is what they're going to have to do. And surveillance is a big part of this. Surveillance is absolutely essential.
What NSA is doing.
Well, the great thing is we live in a democracy. If we don't like what NSA is doing, we can just get rid of the government and put in a different government. I think actually we've been collecting this information for so long, and long before NSA was collecting it. Let me tell you who was collecting it. American Express, Bank of Visa, all of your credit card data. We have all of your financial records. This whole issue of privacy is utterly fascinating to me. Who's ever heard of this information being misused by the government? In what way?
Well, I just hear you clearly. You're saying whatever the NSA is doing is okay with me.
It's great. I wish, it's great. It's essential. By the way, President Obama thinks it's essential. It's essential if we want to minimize the kind of strikes that we just had in Boston. It's absolutely essential.
But what point would it be alarming for you in terms of government surveillance?
We can have AI control all the droning and stuff, just in case somebody looks like they're getting out of hand, protect the world.
Used it to do political targeting. If the Democrats used it to go after Republicans,
that can never happen.
Republicans used it to go after Democrats. In other words, if it became we stopped looking for terrorists and we started looking.
That could never happen. Twitter never did that. Facebook never did that. YouTube never did that. They never, ever tried to stop somebody in regards to political issues and in regards to even issues in regard, like we just saw what happened with regards to the COVID shots and all this other stuff. What did they do? They shut down, and it was essential for us to mask up. It was essential for us to get the shots. It was essential for us to social distance. These things were all things that they pushed recently. And no doubt, if you've got that mindset, then essential to monitor your every move. And when they're monitoring your every move, then they'll be able to control you more. Now, this is what they're putting together. So Larry Ellison is putting all the data into one big bank, where AI is going to control it all. And why is Trump on board with this? Why is Larry Ellison on board with this? Why is Elon Musk on board with this? Think about it. Who's got the money in this world right now? Who are the big moneyed men in this world? What is Trump? Isn't he like a billionaire and stuff? Do you think he just became a converted Christian who's praising the Lord and saying hallelujah overnight? Because no, there's something involved here, and it is power, control, and they love power and they love control. There is something, and they're very smart about these things. I'll share a little bit more as we continue, but just listen carefully to Ellison.
The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording, watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on. And it's unimpeachable. The cars have cameras on them. I think we have a squad car here someplace. But those kind of applications using AI, if we can use AI, and we're using AI to monitor the video.
Yeah. AI. And then he talks about the bathrooms and stuff like that and how they can shut it off, but they don't really shut it off when you go to the bathroom and other things like that. They're going to monitor everything. That's what this AI is. Now, if you look at the word oracle, oracle means a priest or priestess, acting as a medium through whom advice or prophecy was sought from gods in classical antiquity. In other words, oracle means a medium, a witch. And what do witches do? They contact the spirits. Stargate. Witches are like a stargate to bring in the spirits, the stars, right? And that's what oracle means. It's like a witchcraft. And what are they going to push? They're going to push pharmakia. Pharmakia is another word for sorcery. Sorcery. It's in Revelation 18:23. By pharmakia were all nations deceived. So it all connects together. There's sorcery through, and it's not just any type of sorcery. It is basically a controlled sorcery, so that the witches can basically control everything. So origin of oracle, it comes from a person whom a deity is believed to speak, or the shrine in which a deity reveals. A person of great knowledge and wisdom. I will go to the oracle should I need help. The oracle is the one who's basically speaking to the spirits. And if we understand what spirits are, we understand that they are not just any kind of spirits. It's demonic. It's really demonic. I want to just share with you Elon Musk here just briefly. This is Elon Musk, and that kind of gives you an idea of where their allegiance is, okay? Listen carefully. Watch this carefully.
Look at that salute that he gave again. Just if anybody missed it, we'll just show it again. He's just wrapped up here. You can hear the...
There it is right there. Okay, so what is it? Where is his allegiance to? And it's not hard to figure out. His allegiance is to Rome, right? His allegiance is to Rome. That is not a Nazi salute. That is a Roman salute. And ultimately, it's an allegiance to Rome. Now, consider carefully. There's more to this, and I'll share with you what I mean, okay? Heidi Klum, Halloween party last night. Elon wore a $7,500 Devil's Champion costume with a great upside-down cross on chest and wrists. So, more so, obviously, when you understand Rome, they have a hidden secret religion, which really doesn't worship, Jesus and Mary, but more so Tammuz, Ishtar, Nimrod, ancient Babylonian worship, right? Your ancient trinity that came from Babylon, Ishtar, Easter Sunday, Ishtar Sunday, right? The day of the sun worship. And it all revolves around ancient pagan sun worship that came from Babylon. It's a mystery religion. It's a hidden religion, and they do things in secret. This is why you see his mother doing the all-seeing eye with the 666 over her eye, as you can see, and then also the pyramid symbol, which is if you ever do the pyramid, they do the pyramid over their eyes, right? And stuff. And she's also covering one eye, which is a symbol. It's basically a symbol that they are Masons, Illuminati Masons. You can see it on the dollar bill. You see the pyramid with the all-seeing eye. That's Masonry. And then underneath it says New World Order, Novus Ordo Seclorum, which, of course, I might have you know, this is really a symbol that comes from ancient masonry. Of course, that's Elon Musk on the left. That's Aleister Crowley on the right. If it's, I don't know what direction or how you guys are seeing it, but anyways, in regards to that, that is these two are basically, they're of the same masonry. You can see here X brought to you by Luciferian Masonry. You can see the X flipped around. It makes a square and a compass, right? And then you can see the Freemason symbol with the square and the compass. The Freemasons have a square and a compass, and so does the X, Twitter X. So that's why when his mother is doing the all-seeing eye with the 666 symbols, they understand that there is a deeper meaning. They use these symbols and they just come out with them openly. And of course, Aleister Crowley, he wrote the Book of the Law. This is really Satanism when you get down to it, the higher levels of masonry. I'll come back to this, but do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. He was a high-end Mason, and it comes from Lucifer. Lucifer, you know, you don't really have to, you won't surely die. You can do whatever you want, right? And of course, this is Elon Musk and Donald Trump, and Elon Musk is proud to say on his Twitter update, as you can see on the top there, Novus Ordo Seclorum, which are the same words that you see on your dollar bill underneath that pyramid, Novus Ordo Seclorum, which is New World Order. New World Order. So we know where his allegiance is, right? So when he's bringing in this AI and all this other stuff, it's not hard to see. They do it in secret. It's a mystery religion. They're hiding these things. They're not open about these things. You can see right here, here he is with Donald Trump when he went to the UFC event, and he has an Omega symbol surrounding the all-seeing eye. Omega symbolizes God, and I think that they worship another god, and it's not the god of this world. It is the god Satan, symbolizes it, the all-seeing eye, in that pyramid symbol. That pyramid symbol, Novus Ordo Seclorum. He's obviously showing his true colors. It's not hidden. Same with his cars. You'll notice XEC. These are Greek letters from the Bible, and these are for 666. That's what John the Revelator in Revelation 13:18, you'll see the XEC. It's kind of like an E or a 3, a backwards 3. And then this one's a little S. It's kind of like a little S, X, a C, and an S. These are Greek letters here, okay? And it says, here is wisdom. Let him that has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666, 666. And why am I showing you this? Because those are the chi, rho, chi, chi, xi, and stigma. They are letters from the Greek alphabet. Now consider carefully. XES, you'll see these in several places. And Romans used to use them all the time. 666, X, E, the little E, and the S is down there. And then, of course, the P on the top. I'm not going to go into that right now. I've shared this before. If you watch my Elon Musk video, I go into more detail on this. But XES, look at the first 3 models of Elon Musk's cars. What are they? Model X, Model 3, and Model S. How does that work? 666, right? 666. You know, it's not so in your face, but I will say it is when you look carefully. If you look carefully. From a distance, a lot of things about Elon Musk look good. From a distance, when the fruit was presented to Eve, it looked very good to the eyes. It looked good to the eyes from a distance, but you look closely and you might see that it's from a witch. It's from witchcraft. It's from sorcery. It's the Babylonian devil behind it. Anyways, this is from this week concerning what's happening with the immigration and the waste. I want you to hear Mr. Talkov in concerns of these.
For years, criminal networks have stolen personal information from the public and private sector. They exploit real identities to manipulate antiquated government systems, siphoning off billions in taxpayers' hard-earned money. We continue to pay benefits to deceased and incarcerated individuals, direct money to bad actors flagged in the...
Now, deceased is having to do with the Social Security system, and I was going to share a little bit in the Social Security system. I think I have the video up a bit, but they're saying that there's a bunch of deceased people, and so this is the danger is that there's potential for people robbing identities and robbing identities of dead people, because these dead people have not been they've not been cut off from the Social Security system. So what he's saying is that there's an identification system that is needed, and this identification system, of course, is the real ID. We'll come to that.
Do not pay list and overlook duplicate Social Security numbers by not following best practices. To stop this, we must reclaim control of our system, not just from the criminal syndicates, but the flawed systems enabling them. Smarter technology, data, and identity verification are not optional. They are necessities to protect taxpayers and ensure aid reaches those who truly need it. The solution is clear.
So the solution is clear. What we need is an identity system, and it's going to protect us. It's going to protect us. But of course, what identity system might he be referring to here? The one that is working with Larry Ellison, and of course, who's going to be behind this as well? There's a waste going on, right? Who's catching the government waste? It's Doge. Doge is catching the government waste. They found out that there's waste going in Social Security. So now what we need to bring in is a social identification system. Larry Ellison is sitting right there with this new system, AI system that's ready to go, that can monitor your every move. And guess what's coming in? So Larry Ellison, billionaire. Elon Musk, billionaire. Donald Trump, billionaire. All these billionaires seem to want to control everybody's next moves. Let's just keep going here.
For you, if we implement enhanced identity verification and enhanced income verification, what will happen? How much?
Let's just stop there. What kind of enhanced income verification? Income verification. In other words, inclusive income. I'm going to come back to this, right? Because it's going to be inclusive and exclusive, right? So you have to have some kind of ID in order to be able to access income and to get income in the future. That's what the future is going to look like, which means that you're going to have a digital ID. So listen carefully. Identity verification, income verification. Let's just listen.
If we implement enhanced identity verification and enhanced income verification, what will happen? How much money will we save?
You'll save hundreds of billions of dollars.
Let's just stop it right there. You'll save hundreds of billions of dollars. So we're going to have, who's behind this getting rid of the waste? The Department of Government Efficiency, right? Which is Elon Musk. So you're going to save hundreds of billions of dollars if you bring in an identification system as well as a verification system for economy or being able to buy or sell income, right? Your income. You have to have a verification system. So they're bringing this in, and it's under Donald Trump. Just so you guys know, Donald Trump, Larry Ellison, it's coming in through the Trump administration. And some of you all were thinking, oh, it's going to be the World Economic Forum bringing this in. Oh, no. Larry Ellison is working with Trump. Larry Ellison is working with the World Economic Forum. Larry Ellison is working with all these other world government systems and everything like that, the United Nations and all that other stuff. So if Larry Ellison is working through this and Trump cuts ties with the World Economic Forum, but then he gives Larry Ellison all this power, has he really cut ties with the World Economic Forum, guys? Has he really cut ties? We have to think really deeply. It's not so cut and dry. It's not so cut and dry as it's been made to look, right?
Identity verification, elimination of self-certification, and monitoring beneficiaries will prevent these transnational criminal groups from accessing those systems at scale so legitimate people who need the benefits can get them in a timely fashion.
So we're going to get actual benefits to people, to American citizens that are in need faster.
Sounds
because
awesome.
if you do it electronically through web-based, like they did in Missouri, the pilot program saved almost 20% of Medicaid dollars. So all we have to do is adopt what has already been proven in Missouri, and we'll save 20%. To the people out there listening, we spend almost $900 billion every year on Medicaid. And if 20% of that is saved, that's almost $200 billion. We got a $1.8 trillion annual deficit. We just knocked off $200 billion. Let's keep this train going.
Huh. Let's get rid of the government waste, Department of Government Efficiency. And what's the best way to do this? Let's do it digitally let's bring in a digital economy. Let's bring in a digital economy to get this all running the right way. Let's keep this train going. Let's get rid of the waste. And one of the ways is identity verification and income verification. Basically, you cannot buy or sell unless you go along with the coming system. Understand, this all relates to Bible prophecy. This all relates to the mark of the beast. We're coming back to this. We're going to put this together because I'm going to show you how this all connects to the coming laws that are going to be made with respect to your liberties here and the religious laws that are coming. Just watch how this connects and who this connects to. Remember, government waste. Okay, this is about government waste. And if we have no government waste, we can bring in a digital economy to help with government waste. Now, who's behind all this? We're going to catch it in a second. It's you definitely want to see because it all connects back to Rome.
Yeah, my number right now between federal, state, and local government is you can save $1 trillion a year by simply putting in front-end identity verification, eliminating self-certification, and monitoring the back end of the programs that are providing the benefits. Those three things.
So you can save $1 trillion a year by bringing in a digital identity system and a digital economy. That's what they want to bring in. You catching it? It's $1 trillion. So the Department of Government Waste or Government Efficiency, as it's called, the Department of Government Efficiency, is going to stop the waste of $1 trillion a year. How can they do that? By bringing in a digital economy, by bringing in a digital ID system. You catching it all? I hope it's all connecting together here. And guess who's funding this? Donald J. Trump and his administration, making America great again by stopping the waste. Now, this is just started. I'm just getting into this here. Now, consider this. The UN pushes for global digital ID system to boost financial inclusion. Just wait. We're going to get in the Bible here in shortly. You definitely want to see how this all connects to the Bible. But United Nations pushes for global digital ID system to boost financial inclusion. That's a key word, financial inclusion. But what do you need to be included financially? A digital ID. Okay, I want to slow it down. I want to make sure everybody's catching every detail of everything here. Digital ID. And where does the digital ID come from? UN is pushing for this. And of course, who's working with the UN? Larry Ellison. Who's working with Donald Trump? Larry Ellison. What are they bringing in? A digital infrastructure. What do they want? Everything into this digital infrastructure. And it's going to have a digital ID system and a financial inclusion system. Remember, it's for be able to buy or sell. You can't buy or sell unless you have this, okay? Now, Pope Francis for global COVID-19 recovery plan in message to the bank and World Bank and IMF, International Monetary Fund. Well, they're all working together as well with regard to this, and they're working with the IMF is Kristalina Georgieva. Now, she works with Pope Francis, as you can see as well, and she talks about central bank digital currencies for financial inclusion. Central bank digital currencies, CBDCs are called, right? And that's your digital economy that's coming in. And just want you to hear what she says here.
Information provision that covers for people how not using cash is better to protect yourself against crime, and how if you use digital money, you can graduate from payments.
Protect yourself against crime. Protect yourself. What were these other men saying? Protecting against fraud. Fraud, right? Protecting against waste. Protecting against all the other things. It's the same words. They're using the same words. They're on the same team. All of them are on the same team. You know, Trump drain the swamp. Yeah, no. I think
to credit.
He's in the swamp.
And that, of course, enhances financial inclusion.
Enhances financial inclusion. It's the same wording, guys. Are you catching these things? Now watch this, okay? Remember this. Some of you are I'm gonna put this together with some Bible prophecy here shortly, but listen to what she likens the economy to. Some of you know Revelation 18. You know about the ships, and the ships standing afar off. No man was able to buy her merchandise anymore. Babylon. Okay? Just listen carefully.
Bear with me on giving you an image and then outlining 3 priorities for CBDCs to help. Here is the image. We have been talking this last couple of days of the difficult time we are in, that our world economy is like a ship in choppy waters.
A ship in choppy water.
The image we can add to it is thinking of CBDCs as being a new fleet of ships.
What's the CBDCs going to be? A new fleet of ships. Now, I want you just to consider, I'm going to share with you Daniel 11:40. We're going to come back to this point, so don't forget this point here. A new fleet of ships, because I've got some other things coming here with regards to Daniel 11. Because in Daniel 11, the king of the north comes not only with ships, but with horses, horsemen, and chariots. We're going to look at the horsemen and chariots here a little bit, but also those ships are the ships that are mentioned in Revelation chapter 18, where it says the ships were standing afar off, right? A fleet of ships. Let's keep going here. Digital economy is for the common good, according to the papacy. That's what it's for. It's for the common good. It's going to stop waste. We got a Department of Government Efficiency trying to sort everything out here, and we got the best thing to do to stop all this waste is a digital economy. And then, of course, we got Larry Ellis behind it as well with the Stargate project, as well as Oracle, to monitor things, to monitor every human's activity and movement with the digital economy and a fleet of ships. Let's just keep going here, okay? Let's just listen to this. This is Ron Paul, and it's in regards to immigration. And what do you think he said would be their solution with regards to immigration? And this was back in, I think it was 2011 or 2012 that Ron Paul was saying all this stuff. Let's just go back here in time and just see what the Real ID was about. Listen carefully, okay? He knew why they would, or what they would do as a solution. And Obama was trying to bring in the Real ID back then. But of course, it had to do with immigration. Maybe Obama and Joe Biden created the problem so that they could bring in the solution with Trump. And Trump would look like the good guy. Listen carefully.
Congressman Ron Paul is a Texas Republican. He's opposed to this card. Congressman, afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Nice to be with you.
It's a great pleasure to have you. All right, so what's the problem with the national ID card? Because its proponents say this is it. This is the thing that's going to finally help us stop illegal immigrants from coming in here and taking jobs.
Well, we do have a problem with illegal immigration, but I would say the problems of every American citizen carrying their papers for wherever they go is a much worse problem than illegal immigration. Besides, you can take care of illegal immigration otherwise. But people over this decades now in this country, there have been some who have wanted this national ID card, and they're looking for every opportunity to do it. And this
looking for every opportunity to do it. And one of the ways that they're going to be able to do it is by illegal immigration. So open the borders up when Biden comes in. And then when Trump comes in, we can present the solution, the Real ID or the ID Act or digital ID, as it might be, the digital ID with the digital economy coming very, very soon.
This is it. I mean, who knows what will come of it? My guess is they'll probably have a GPS chip in there so that they can measure everybody, every instant, no matter where they go. So to me, it violates the whole principles of privacy, the principles of the Constitution, the principles of the Republic. And to me, it's a gross distortion of what we should be doing. It's part of an authoritarian society, and dictatorships have this, but not a republic.
What do you think?
We're short.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I would want to get your thoughts on this before I let you go. What do you think the government might do to us if we all had a national ID card?
Well, they would monitor everything that we do. and
like
surveillance, the
Larry
lack
Ellison.
of privacy. It's always for good purposes. Everything is for good, and they're going to get rid of illegal immigration. They're going to find the criminals, but they're also
Illegal
going to
immigration's gonna
monitor
be gone,
every
guys.
single person, every single thing
But
they
we'll
do.
monitor
It's sort of
everything.
this idea of why not have cameras every place on every street corner, because we'll catch the bad guy. Well, why don't they have cameras in our house in case there's child beating or wife beating? I mean, that's when one thing leads to another. You either believe in freedom or you don't. If you think you need supervision and surveillance constantly by your government, and right now, the degree of confidence and trust in our government is very, very low. To turn this additional tool over to the government, to me, should outrage the American people, and so far, the people I hear from are outraged.
Huh. When Obama was doing it, people were outraged. So what about when Trump does it, right? Because it's basically the same solution Obama presented back there, and now Trump is presenting this solution, and it's exactly the same play that we were warned about. It's exactly the same play. Now, how and what is truly behind this, we're going to get to here. Architect of Project 2025 pressuring Republican senators to confirm Pete Hegseth. Now, Pete Hegseth is going to be in control, and he is in control already, of the DOD, the Department of Defense, which is also basically your army in America, right? And he said he'd spend $1 million to pressure senators to back Pete Hegseth. $1 million. Wow. He's given up to get Pete Hegseth in. For some reason, he wanted Pete Hegseth to be in control of your army. Now, when you think about ships, right? An army consists of a few things here. I'm going to go to Revelation or Daniel chapter 11 for 1 second. Daniel chapter 11 and verse 40. It says, at the time of the end, the king of the south would push at him. I'm going to get to the king of the south here shortly. It's coming too. And the king of the north would come against him like a whirlwind, with chariots, with horsemen, and with many ships. Okay, so we've talked about the ships already. Now we're looking at the chariots, and we're going to look also at the horsemen as well. I want to just talk about Heritage Foundation, Kevin Roberts. What is he called? He's called the what kind of Catholic is he? What kind of Catholic? You guys know, right? He's called, anybody know what kind of Catholic he is? Cowboy Catholic. Anybody ever heard the word cowboy Catholic before? Have you guys heard? He's called the Cowboy Catholic. I'm not joking. He's a Cowboy Catholic, okay? What do cowboys ride? You guys haven't heard it? Oh, man. Just look up Cowboy Catholic Kevin Roberts on Google. It's all over the place. He's called Cowboy Catholic. He's a very popular title that's used for this man, Kevin Roberts. He's called the Cowboy Catholic, and cowboys ride horses. Now, just keep in mind, cowboys, horses, and he's not going to be the only one, but let's just go with horsemen. Horsemen, okay? With horsemen, and then, of course, Pete Hegseth controlling the tanks, chariots, right? Let's just keep in mind the chariots. A chariot is something that carries men into war, right? And that's what tanks and all these other things that they have is chariots, right? You can say cars or chariots and stuff, some people say, but chariots are war wagons. Yes, war wagons, okay? And you're going to war with those. Now, keep in mind. So we've got Pete Hegseth confirmed, and this is Cowboy Catholic Kevin Roberts, okay? Now, Pete Hegseth's crusade to turn the military into a Christian weapon. When they did the Crusades, guys, what were they riding when they did the Crusades? What were they riding? Horses and chariots. Yeah. Okay, horses. Let's just keep this all in mind. Babylon, horses, chariots, north, king. We're going to get all this connected here as we see this, okay? Now, this is Pete Hegseth here. You'll notice that tattoo on his chest right there. I want you to just get an idea of what this tattoo involves here a little bit. It's actually, some would say it's a Jesuit tattoo or a Jesuit symbol with the crosses around it, IHS, which is Isis, Horus, and Seb. It's basically the Babylon Trinity, right? But you can see it right here down at the right-hand corner here. It's the symbol here. And it's actually the equestrian order of the Holy Sepulchre of Jerusalem. Basically, they went to Jerusalem, and this was all part of the Crusades. And they went to save Jerusalem. I won't go into the details of that, but they had 30,000 knights that went there, and they had to control it, right? Okay. So it says the equestrian order. When you think of equestrian, what comes to your mind, guys? Equestrian order. This is what Pete Hegseth is part of, the equestrian order, the Crusades, okay? Equestrian is horses, right? Equestrian horses, okay? That's what it is, the order of the Holy Sepulchre, of the Knights of the Holy Sepulchre, they say, and this is the order of Jerusalem. Then they did the Crusades. They rode the horses into the Crusades. Now, keep in mind, we're talking about the cowboy Catholic getting this equestrian order, which is basically the Crusades. This man, Pete Hegseth, wants American Crusades with horsemen. Let's just keep going here, keeping this all in mind. It says the European right is learning from the Trump tornado. The Trump tornado. What is a tornado? In the Bible, what is a tornado called? It's called a whirlwind. It's called the whirlwind. The Trump tornado, the whirlwind. Yes. Oh my goodness. This is just incredible that this is all coming to pass before our eyes. Now, some might say, well, that's Babylon. Babylon is the king of the north. Babylon is the papacy, right? Let's just keep that in mind. Yes. But remember, he's a cowboy Catholic, right? Cowboy Catholics. Who's behind the Trump administration? Who do you think is really behind the Trump administration? It's Babylon. It's Catholic. And Babylon, of course, is going to unite into three folds, which is going to be Catholicism, apostate Protestantism, and spiritualism, which is the dragon and his angels, Satan and his angels, Stargate. Don't forget them, right? Okay? You're definitely going to have all three united together, right? You got the Catholics, you got apostate Protestantism, and you got spiritualism. Threefold union. And when we talk about that, we see this in Revelation chapter 16. Just quickly, I'm going to go to Revelation 16, verse 13 and 14. It says, I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, spiritualism, the mouth of the beast, the papacy, Catholicism, and the mouth of the false prophet, apostate Protestant America. Now that's three parts here, right? And that's what it tells us. The great city was divided into three parts, and the cities of the nations fell, and great Babylon came in remembrance before God. So Babylon consists of three parts. It might be divided here. It's uniting. A threefold union is taking place, okay? But what is it called? It's called Great Babylon. Make Babylon great again. That's the title of today's study, right? We want to make Babylon great again. Listen carefully. Make America great again. Make Europe great again. You seeing? Make the papacy great again. Make Catholicism great again. Babylon the Great. The great city was divided into three parts. Do not miss this. This is all given by God to us. The Trump tornado. These things are all given like it's right on our plate. I want to just give you just a little bit about the Crusades now. This is Pope John Paul II. What did he do? Well, he led church leaders and followers in a sweeping confession at one point, seeking repentance for sins that may have been committed over the past 2,000 years in the name of the church. What did they do? Well, they fell into 7 categories of wrongs, which include, without being too specific, everything from the Crusades to the Inquisition. The Crusades to the Inquisition. So he repented for what they did during the Crusades and during the Inquisition. And the forced conversions, what is Trump doing? And he's forcing prayer back into school, making America great. Forced conversions, right? And so anyways, it was first of the church. This is very rarely something that the church does, is apologize. But they had to apologize for the Inquisition and the Crusades. The Crusades were wicked. Okay, consider it. They had to apologize. They killed many people. But does Pete Hegseth understand how wicked these crusades were? Does he understand when they went to Jerusalem and all that stuff, they were killing Christians everywhere that didn't agree with the papacy? Listen carefully to what Pete Hegseth thinks about the Crusades.
It's all about education. What are the kids?
And remember, Pete Hegseth is in charge of the Department of Defense in America. He's got charge over the chariots and horsemen, crusades, right? He's got charge over the armies, just as they had charge over the armies during the Roman Crusades. Listen carefully.
Learning in media, in school, middle school, high school, colleges, we make a lot of assumptions about where our culture is, and we're wrong. And if we don't crusade a holy war, a righteous holy war for freedom, we're not going to save it. And thank God we have Trump now, but we got to do it for the next generation. America has the top economy and military in the world, but our cultural and educational institutions, America's soul, have succumbed to leftist rot. Our time calls for an American crusade, yes, a holy war for the righteous cause of human freedom.
Wow. That's in his book. That's his book. He has a book called The American Crusades, and he's quoting from his book, and he's saying that there needs to be a righteous holy war, an American crusade. And what religion were the Crusades for? What religion was the Crusades for? The Crusades were for the Roman Catholic religion, okay? Catholicism. So when it comes to making America great again, they have to instill Catholic values. Make Babylon great again. That's really what it is. And in order to force religion, what does the church need? It needs the state power. I'm going to go to the book of Revelation again. It says, I'm going to show you, this is what the angel said to John, I'm going to show you the judgment of the great whore. I'm going to show you why she falls. Her judgment. Because she has fornicated with the kings of the earth. Church and state union causes a fall. And that's what we're looking at with Kevin Roberts and Pete Hegseth and all these guys. They're bringing in religion, but not just any religion, Catholicism. And this is Babylon. The king of the north is coming. And what is he gathering? He's gathering his armies. He's gathering his chariots. He's gathering his horsemen, his cowboy Catholics. And he's gathering his ships, getting control over the economy. It's all coming to pass. And what does it say? Revelation 17:5, upon her head was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great. Make America great again. Make Europe great again. She's riding a beast with 10 horns. 10 horns symbolize Europe. It symbolized the whole world. But 10 horns, I believe, is the United Nations at this time. But she is the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And in Revelation 18, it says that Babylon the Great is fallen, and is a habitation of devils, a hold of every foul spirit. What kind of spirit? Every foul spirit, a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Now consider this. We're opening a stargate to every foul spirit. We're using Oracle, men like Elon Musk and others, to open this gate, this stargate, and to be mediums, oracles, to bring in spirits of devils. It's a gate open. This is what it is. So what is she guilty of? Well, all nations have drunk of the wrath of her fornication. The kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. Church and state is uniting. And this is so obvious and in our face. But it says the merchants of the earth are waxing rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Can you say Donald Trump is a billionaire? Larry Ellison, Elon Musk, they're waxing rich. How are they getting rich, guys? What is it that they've given their allegiance to in order to get rich? The merchants of the earth are getting rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Now keep this all in mind, because there's another voice that says, come out of her, my people. When you see this, now go down a little bit. And it says, how much has she glorified herself and lived deliciously? So much torment and sorrow give her, for she says in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow and shall see no sorrow. Is this not great America, which I have built? Look at us. We've done this. Let's make America great again. Let's make Europe great again. I sit a queen and I shall see no sorrow. Nothing's coming upon me. But what happens? Well, Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death, mourning, and famine. What happened when Nebuchadnezzar said, is this not great Babylon that I have built? In the very hour that he said that, his fall came. His fall came. She's going to be burnt with fire. And the kings of the earth, such as Donald Trump and Elon Musk and all these other men, whether Obama or whatnot, who have committed fornication with the papacy and lived deliciously with her, shall bewail her and lament for her when they see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off, saying, Babylon, the great city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, because no man buyeth her merchandise anymore. No man might buy or sell, but listen carefully, no man is going to be able to buy her merchandise anymore. Because all the merchandise, the gold, the silver, does she have power over the silver, the gold, the precious stones? She certainly does. Daniel 11:43 says she has power over the gold and the silver, right? Daniel 11:43. We know that verse. So she has the power over the gold, the silver, and the precious stones. I'm not going to go over all the things she has power of, but it says the merchants were made rich by her. These men like Larry Ellison and others, here's $500 billion, Larry Ellison. They'll stand afar off when they watch her burn. They're going to watch the great city make America great, make Babylon great, the great city, make Europe great. And she's decked with gold, precious stones. She has them all. She has all the gold. And in 1 hour, so great riches come to nothing. And every shipmaster and all the company and ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off. The ships are a symbol of economy and the coming CBDCs. Remember, the woman said, the IMF head, Christina Georgiev, said, hey, this new CBDC is like a fleet of ships. It's coming like a fleet of ships. Well, guess what's going to happen to this new CBDC? Every shipmaster and all the company of ships, you can have all the money in the world, but if you got no products to buy, then it doesn't matter. You can have $1 billion and you won't be able to buy a pair of shoes, because it's not going to matter all the money you're going to have. So every shipmaster and all the company and ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like to this great city? Oh, great Babylon. Oh, great America. Make America great again. And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping, wailing, for saying, that great city wherein we were made rich, Babylon the Great, which consists of the papacy, apostate Protestant America, the European Union, and all the spirits of devils working together. All of it, the kings of the earth. It's all coming to an end, because in 1 hour, she shall be made desolate. She's standing the queen right now. She thinks nothing's going to happen to her right now. Guys, don't get comfortable right now. Understand that it's all coming to an end very, very rapidly. Very rapidly. Now, I'm not going to go to Daniel 11:40, but just briefly, I'm going to for 1 second. We're going to go back to our PowerPoint because there's more that I got to share. Don't leave yet. Daniel 11:40, at that time shall the king of the south push him. I want to get to the king of the south. And the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind, tornado, like a tornado, with chariots, with horsemen, and with many ships. He shall enter into the countries and shall overflow and pass over. Now remember, ships. We talked about the ships of Babylon just a second ago. It has to do with economy. And he shall have power over the treasures of gold and silver and over all the precious things of Egypt. Babylon is arrayed in gold and silver and all the costly things. Nobody's going to buy her gold or silver anymore. It's coming a time here. But just consider this. Let's go back to our PowerPoint. We saw here what this is. This is Babylon here. This is Babylon working through the United States of America to make holy crusades. Church and state uniting together. The kings of the earth uniting with this woman, okay? Now let's keep going here. I want you to hear about the tornado that is about to make Europe great again. Because remember, he's going like a whirlwind. America goes like a whirlwind. It's going to be very rapid, but when you look in the Bible, it talks about whirlwinds. You could go to the book of Jeremiah. And before I play that video, I just want to give you the Bible here. Jeremiah chapter 4. It says, the lion has come up from his thicket. Where does he come from? I will bring evil from the north and great destruction. That's coming. And he says, the lion has gone up from his thicket. What has he got? Well, he says, gird you with sackcloth, lament and howl. The first anger of the Lord is not turned back from us. And then he says down here in verse 13, behold, he shall come up as clouds. His chariots shall be like a whirlwind. And that's war. Horses swifter than eagles. And woe to us, for we are spoiled. Woe to us. Who's us? Well, this is Babylon here. Chapter 6, it says, O ye children of Benjamin, gather yourselves to flee out of the midst of Judea. What did Jesus say? When you see the abomination of desolation spoken by Daniel, flee out of Judea. What does it have to do with? Well, it has to do with evil appearing out of the north. The king of the north is coming, like a whirlwind with chariots, horsemen, and ships. Get out of the cities. If you're not already out, if you didn't get the message, come out of her, my people. Flee out of Babylon, flee out of Judea. There's about to be an economic disaster where no man is going to be able to buy or sell, save he that has a name, number, or mark of the beast. And eagles, birds, yeah, unclean birds. Very good connection there, because Jesus' spirit is like a dove, right? And let's go back to this. Listen carefully here and just catch the things that it talks about. Government waste, spending, Medicaid, all these things are connected together. Make Europe great again. Trump tornado, Trump whirlwind. It's a whirlwind. Make Babylon great again. The king of the north, okay? Listen carefully. Babylon.
A star-studded cast of Europe's far right took center stage in Madrid, all rallied behind an original slogan.
Do you want to make Europe great again?
The summit reunited right-wing European leaders, emboldened by Donald Trump's chaotic first weeks in office.
Trump's tornado has changed the world in only 2 weeks.
What happened there? Oh, Trump's tornado changed the world in 2 weeks. Okay, I hope that was the end of that.
A star-studded cast of the European Patriots currently hold 86 of the European Parliament's 720 seats.
Okay, so basically they're getting control of the EU, 86 of the 720. But there's some stuff about government waste here. They're talking about government waste and restoring things. But Trump's tornado, you heard that was the Prime Minister of not Holland, but I can't remember what country it was. But anyways, in regards to it, he has Sunday laws. And his name is, I'll have to remember his name. But he's working with another minister in France as well. And they're working together to make Europe great again. And who is France in the Bible? France would be what? Spiritually Sodom and Egypt. Remember? Revelation chapter 11. Some of you are familiar with the French Revolution. Spiritually Sodom and Egypt. And Egypt in the book of Daniel chapter 11 would have been the king of the south. Egypt. But Egypt symbolizes atheism. It symbolizes just apostasy, and it's something that's come into America, isn't it? LGBT, atheism, godlessness, all this other stuff, right? Okay, so it came into America, and who's going to make war against the king of the south, atheism, and all this other stuff? Christianity, but it's going to be Catholicism. It's going to be the king of the north, Babylon, okay, making war against this godlessness, this atheistic movement. And it's happening not just in America, but also in France, in Holland, in Germany, in Europe. They are moving in the same way to make Europe great again and to get rid of all the atheistic moves against the king of the south, atheism, spiritually, Sodom, and Egypt. To get rid of it. Now, keep in mind who's behind the spiritually Egypt. We'll get to that as we continue. There's more I could play, but anyways, I'm not going to play that. I want you to hear this, okay? This is from France. This is from France 24 News. It says the EU far-right parties rally in Madrid behind slogan, Make Europe Great Again. You can see that at the top. Now, what does it say down at the bottom? It says both Orban and Le Pen, these are the two leaders of Holland and France, it's hailed Trump's tornado. Trump's tornado, they're calling it. You hearing this? Trump's tornado? Making Europe great again? It's a whirlwind against the king of the south. He shall come like a whirlwind. It's biblically prophetic. King of the north, the papacy. He's working through religion, and they're going to bring religion back in. Do you know that Orban has Sunday laws in this country? He has Sunday laws in this country he's already made. It's so interesting how this is coming together. But it says Orban and Le Pen hailed Trump's tornado as showing the way forward for the European Union, the whirlwind, which the parties had condemned in a joint statement as riven with climate fanaticism, illegal immigration, and excessive regulation. What is it? Immigration? Immigration? Illegal immigration. We got to get rid of it. And then excessive regulation, which is causing a lot of waste, right? We're wasting money on these government agencies. So waste. He says we're facing a truly global tipping point. Hurricane Trump is sweeping again across the United States. Hurricane Trump, a whirlwind. Oh, of course, the papacy came as a whirlwind when he came to America in 2015, right? And he speaks like a dragon through that. But there's more. This isn't done because obviously there's more to come in regards to this whirlwind. Gathering armies of the UN, armies of America. And how is he doing this? Through men like Donald Trump, through Pete Hegseth, through cowboy Catholics like Kevin Roberts. They're all working together in this as chariots, horsemen, and ships, right? Now, consider this. This is also in the article. It says the Spanish party Vox, who hosted the reality, said around 2,000 people attended the event following a dinner on Friday for Patriot leaders and Kevin Roberts, head of the ultra-conservative U.S. think tank, the Heritage Foundation. Kevin Roberts. Kevin Roberts. Now, you're talking about the Trump tornado with cowboy Catholic Kevin Roberts and the Heritage Foundation working together. You got your horsemen, your cowboy Catholics. You got your whirlwind. You got your tanks with Pete Hegseth and your chariots and your horsemen and your many ships with the digital economy that's come with Elon Musk and Larry Ellison and, of course, Donald Trump, the billionaires, the moneyed men who were the merchants of the earth who have become rich off the abundance of her delicacies. What else is left, right? What else is left to come to pass here, guys? There's only one last call. Come out of her, my people, that you don't receive of her plagues. The plagues are about to fall. That's what's coming next. That's what's next. The plagues fall. That means Jesus has left the sanctuary. That means probation is closed. That's what we're at. That's what we're at right now. We're at that point. Hurricane Trump is sweeping across the United States, right? Peace and safety, peace and security. They're making peace plans with Russia and all this other stuff and Israel. We're already at that point, peace and safety, right? But they're saying peace and safety, but sudden destruction is coming. Hurricane Trump is sweeping across the United States. Guess what this article's from here? The Heritage Foundation website. And it says the European right is learning from the Trump tornado. The Heritage Foundation talking about the whirlwind. Cowboy Catholic talking about the whirlwind, the Trump tornado, and the Catholics working together. Babylon, make America great again, the king of the north. It's all working together. This is, I know some people still think that the king of the north is Turkey. I'm sorry, guys. You guys are missing out on Bible prophecy now. Big time. Again, the only way to save Europe, mass deportation and closing borders. Closing the borders. That's what they're saying. This is the way we're going to save it. Is the Trump tornado about to tear through Europe? Are they going to save Europe, make Europe great again? This is all coming to pass right now. It's in the Spectator. It's on the Heritage Foundation. But regarding this, Elon Musk is even talking about this, and he says, "Let's make America great again." And he shares J.D. Vance's speech from Munich Security Conference and Vance's remarks regarding the European leaders, make Europe great again. And who's behind making Europe great again? Elon Musk. It's just pieces are being put together. And what's the issue, according to J.D. Vance?
I believe there is nothing more urgent than mass migration. Today, almost 1 in 5 people living in this country moved here from abroad. That is, of course, an all-time high. It's a similar number, by the way, in the United States, also an all-time high.
Okay, so it's not just in the United States that we have this migration issue that is the biggest issue. So they made this the issue. This was the problem. Now they've got the reaction. Oh, we got to save America and make America great. Make Europe great again. Make America great again. Make Babylon great again. Don't miss the title of the message. But this is how we're going to do it, is we can bring in a security system where everybody has digital IDs. Larry Ellison, Elon Musk, and all these guys getting rid of the government waste, and also digital economy with it all. No man might buy or sell, save he that has the mark or the name or the number of the beast. It's all coming to pass. And this is how they're moving in this direction. They're gonna do everything they can to make this come to pass right now. And JD Vance, what does he say? He says Project 2025 group is the most influential engine of ideas for Trump. That's it. That's the centerpiece of it. But you know what he said? Because this was his praise on Kevin Roberts, right? Cowboy Catholics gathering the horsemen. Well, it says down at the bottom, Vance goes on to say that conservatives should rally around Roberts' ideas in the book, writing, "We are all now realizing that it's time to circle the wagons and load the muskets. In the fights that lay ahead, these ideas are an essential weapon." Circle the wagons, load the muskets, wagons. I gotta read this verse again, guys, just to go back to my Bible here. Remember, we're talking about Daniel chapter 11, verse 40. Circle the wagons, get the cowboy Catholics and the horsemen together, as it says here. At that time, the time of the end, shall the king of the south push at him. Atheism, all this other stuff, right? Coming against the papacy. But the king of the north would come against him like a whirlwind, like a tornado, like a hurricane with chariots. What do you say again? What do you say? He said, circle the wagons and load the muskets. Circle the wagons, circle the chariots and load the muskets. How clear is it, guys? Get the horsemen. Get your cowboy Catholics. Let's get the Equestrian Order of Jerusalem, the Crusades. Let's get some crusades going with some horsemen. And the many ships. Let's get the economy, bring the digital economy with us. New economic order, and enter into the countries. Let's get the rest of these nations. Let's make Europe great again. Let's make America great again. Let's get all the countries and overflow and pass over. And then let's make war with the remnant of her seed, the woman, Jerusalem above, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. They're gathering around us with armies. Anyways, we're gonna finish this here. Trump explains his militaristic plan to deport 15 to 20 million people. They're bringing armies into America right now. They're going to bring the armies. Pete Hegseth, battle cry, new Christian crusade. We need a new Christian crusade. And of course, it's not just against the LGBT. They got to make it look righteous, but it's going to be against God's people who keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ, who don't bow on Sundays or to the image of the beast, and who won't bow to the great image that's set up. Remember who the borders are? Tom Homan, he's the borders are in charge of the mass deportations. He works with Project 2025 as well. He's part of Project 2025, working with Kevin Roberts, the cowboy Catholic, and they're all coming. The Equestrian Order to gather up those who would come against them. And the King of the North is coming. He's got chariots. He's got horsemen. He's got many ships. It's really all biblically prophesied. I'm going to skip that. But I just want to make sure that we understand what Cowboy Catholic said. He said this.
Full circle in this response, and just want to encourage you with some substance that we are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
You know what happened in 1798? There was a revolution, and there are things that are taking place here that he says will remain bloodless if. And there's conditions to remaining bloodless. But the Bible, and we talked about this yesterday, and we went into Revelation chapter 16, and we were talking about the mark of Cain, and Cain killed his brother Abel, and Abel's blood was crying from the ground. And some of you were there, some of you know. But these people have the mark of the beast. They take the mark of the beast, the mark of Cain. And these people, like Cain, will persecute their brothers and make war with them. And these people who are for the beast in his image, which is Catholicism and apostate Protestantism, are going to make war with Jerusalem above, the remnant of her seed, who keep the commandments of God. And that's what we'll see here, is that we're going to see the sea filled with blood. We're going to see the rivers filled with blood. We're going to see a lot of blood is coming right now. And it says, I heard the angel of the water say, Thou art righteous, O Lord, which art and was and shall be, because thou hast judged. For they have shed the blood of saints and prophets, and thou hast given them blood to drink, and they are worthy. Don't be surprised if we see a few people lose their lives that are going to be God's people. Don't be surprised if martyrs are not, they don't come on a large scale right now. We're going to see a large scale of martyrs during this time. It's coming. It's coming. But may they be martyrs for the cause. And I understand that probation's about to close. So when we see these martyrs, we have to understand repentance is here. And we have very, very little time at this point in time. Because the plagues are about to fall. Because the blood is soaking into the earth. And the earth is not going to produce its fruit anymore. Just as in the time of Cain. It's all connected together. So for some of you who didn't see the mark of Cain last night and come and study with us, you guys need to join those Friday night studies and those Wednesday night studies. You're missing out on a whole bunch of stuff. And God has given us a lot of light for this time, a lot of light in regards to what's happening right now. And if you do have a chance, it's on YouTube. And if you did see it, go share, place a comment, share what you've learned and stuff like that. But there's a lot of things that are so going to happen right now. And the soaking of the ground, it will remain bloodless if, well, I'm pretty sure that just like the Crusades and just like the Inquisition, it's not going to stay very bloodless, guys. It's not going to stay very bloodless, okay? And remember what Trump said in regards to the churches? He said, you're getting your voice back. You're going to speak again. You're going to have power again. And let's just listen.
Is bite back on that. But for 4 years, we went through a great period. You were able to speak. And we're going to make that on a permanent basis. You're going to be able to do it because you're the people we want to hear from, the pastors and the ministers and the rabbis. The people in this room are the people we want to hear from, and they have to have a political voice. You know, if you think about it, you have men, you have women, and you have religion. If you look at it, you have more than the men, you have more than the women. You have such power, but you weren't allowed to use that power. And you're now allowed to use it. I get in there, you're going to be using that power at a level that you've never used it before. It's going to bring back the churchgoer. I mean, you have to see, I don't like the charts when I see charts where they're going in the wrong direction.
Churchgoers are going to be brought back. Revelation 13, very carefully, talking about the voice. Revelation 13:11, I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. This is apostate Protestant America. He had two horns like a lamb. It's a republic, no crowns. And he spake as a dragon. He has the voice of a dragon. You're going to have a voice. And the voice of the dragon has to do with church and state, because you think about it, voice of a dragon. Earlier on in Revelation 13, you'll hear this other beast speak, and it says he has the mouth of a lion. And it says in verse, mouth of a lion is the mouth of Babylon. And it says the dragon gave him his power, his seat, and his great authority. And it says in verse 5, he had power to continue 40 and 2 months. Church and state union for 40 and 2 months. But he had a voice, and he spoke great things. This mouth of a lion spoke great things. The mouth of a lion, the lion is a symbol of Babylon, speaks great things and blasphemies. And he had power. And when you talk about the voice and the power, it says he spake as a dragon, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him. and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, which is the papacy, whose deadly wound was healed. Revelation chapter 13, verse 12. I am like, it's the, I don't know what to say, but there's just so much going through my heart right now in regards to what God is trying to share. He just really wants us to know he doeth great wonders, so they maketh fire come down from heaven, a counterfeit, apostate Protestantism, fire. It's a symbol of the counterfeit spirit, just like on the day of Pentecost. And that's what this is. It's apostate Protestantism doing these things. They're getting power from the state, church and state power. The dragon, that's pagan Rome, gave his power to the papacy. Church, the state, gave its power to the church. The church fornicates with the kings of the earth. Church and state union. This is what it is. That's your power. And listen to Kevin Roberts. I just want you to consider carefully what he says about the power.
What we're doing here is building not just for 2025, Steve, but for the next century in the United States. And that's why MSNBC and that history professor have lost their ever-loving minds, because they've never seen the political right be this organized, this focused, this rational about taking power and actually using it.
Taking power and using it. Remember, he's a cowboy Catholic. Power. What kind of power are they going to exercise? Catholics with the state, church, and state power? It's the same power that was exercised by the first beast before it. Apostate Protestantism, America, is going to exercise the same power as the first beast before them, as we see. And it's speaking. They're definitely going to speak. They have a voice, a political voice now. And that's what we see in America. Everything coming to pass just as prophesied. And I'll briefly just give you just a little bit more here. I want to close out here. But in regards to the power, he's taken the power from Washington and given it to the state. I'm going to share with you just briefly.
In addition to the work we do at the federal level, we also have a lot of activity in state capitals and state legislatures. And so what we're trying to do is, in the United States, revitalize federalism so that more policy action is coming from the states, making Washington less important.
And that's why you hear of all these states implementing Sunday laws right now and pushing for 10 commandments in classrooms and everything like that, because they're moving the power from Washington to the state. Just as Trump said, we're transferring power from Washington, D.C. back to the American people. And this is why. Listen to what Jonathan Berry has. Jonathan Berry is one of the authors of Project 2025 from the Heritage Foundation. He works with Kevin Roberts, and he says that Washington can't implement Sunday laws, but somebody else can if we give the power to the state. Listen carefully what he says, okay?
I don't think Congress has the authority to mandate like a national closing on the Sabbath. That was always a state decision to do that. But let me add, it was always a state decision.
State decision. Put the power into the hands of the state. Let me add, it's a state decision. So maybe Washington can't do it, but if we give power over to the states, oh yeah, the states can do it. Yeah, there you go. So are you catching what they're doing here? They know what they're doing. They're just pretending that they don't. Oh, Washington can't really do this. Oh, that's why we got to give power to the state. That's why you hear Jonathan Berry saying the same thing as President Trump, and President Trump saying the same thing as Kevin Roberts. We're going to give power to the state. They're all working for the same power. And what is that power? The power of church and state union in order to implement an image to the beast and force the mark of the beast, which is the mark. Sunday is their mark of authority, right? The papacy's mark, and the image of the beast is going to enforce an apostate Protestant America. And then it's going worldwide. It's the whole world. As they say, Project 2025 wants to make faith the government's job. Project 2025 wants to make religious laws. And what do those religious laws include? Well, Jonathan Berry says the Sabbath day is going to be a day of rest. So as we're seeing all these things come to pass right now, we are watching his prophecy fulfill itself. We should consider carefully. I want to go back to my Bible in the book of Daniel, and I want you really to consider right now what is really happening. I'm going to share with you something that Jesus told you to watch for He told you to understand and know. He said, the king of the north is going to come like a tornado with chariots, with horsemen, and with many ships. He's getting armies. And church and state is uniting, right? He's got to gather the kings of the earth. The king of the north is Babylon. He's going to gather the kings of the earth. Church and state union. There's going to be a threefold union. You're going to see the papacy. You're going to see apostate Protestant America. And you're going to see spiritualism. Ellen White wrote it in 5 Testimonies, page 451. She said, this is like, as this was a sign to the Christians to flee out of Judea in 67 AD, so may this threefold union apostasy be the sign given to us as a people to know and understand. And when we see this, the time of trouble is about to follow. But that's 5 Testimonies, 451. But I want to go to Matthew 24, keeping those words in mind, because the disciples asked him, saying, what shall be the sign of your coming and of the end of the world? As this was a sign, as the armies gathered around Jerusalem, so may this threefold union be a sign to us. Come out of her, my people. Listen carefully. I'm going to show you just briefly. So it says, what's a sign of your coming and of the end of the world? Now, they see all these things come to pass, wars, rumors of wars, kingdoms against kingdoms, but the end is not yet. It says in verse 13, he that endures to the end shall be saved. And then he says in verse 14, this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness to all nations, and then shall the end come. Sign of the end. We're looking for a sign of the end and of his coming. And he says, when you therefore shall see this, the abomination of desolation, spoken by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. Get out of Judea, he says, when you see this. He says, then take some action. You better know what to do when you see it. Don't miss it. Don't misunderstand it. Don't miss this point. He says, because you have to flee. Flee out of Judea, flee to the mountains, he says. Now, we read in Jeremiah about this, and Jeremiah tells us when you see evil appearing out of the north, flee out of Judea. Is that not correct? But this is written of and spoken of by Daniel as well. Daniel spoke of this, did he not? When you see evil appearing out of the north, flee out of Judea. Did he write of evil appearing out of the north? Let's just put this together. Jeremiah 6:1. He says, flee out of Jerusalem, blow the trumpet in Tekoa when you see evil appearing out of the north. Flee. We need to understand this, okay? And who is this evil that appears out of the north? And he says, you got to understand who Zion is, the comely and delicate woman, the church, right? But also, this evil that appears out of the north, you can read about it in Jeremiah 25. He says this. He says, let's go down here, verse 9. Behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, saith the Lord, and Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and I will bring them against the land and against the inhabitants thereof. And this is all symbolic of what's going to happen at the end of the world. And he will utterly destroy them, make them a perpetual astonishment. Now, you can read the rest of these chapters. I highly recommend it. For those of you who joined us for the book of Joel studies, you've seen a lot of this. You understand a lot of this already. You've seen a lot of these points. Joel talks about this. And if you want to go read those studies of Joel, if you haven't yet, you should. Edom, Moab, and the children of Ammon. Is there any mention of that in the book of Daniel? I'll go back. I'm going to go back to Daniel here. Daniel chapter 11. And let's just consider this again in light of all that we've read today. At the time of the end shall the king of the south push in him. It's going to be obviously atheism, spiritual Egypt, right? With the king of the south. And that's what we read in verses 5 to 8 of this chapter. It's the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind, with chariots, with horsemen, and with many ships, and shall enter into the countries and shall overflow and pass over. Now, the king of the north coming like a whirlwind. That's what Jeremiah was talking about. He said, when you see this, no one understand. Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 13, behold, he shall come up as clouds, his chariot shall be as a whirlwind, his horse is swifter than an eagle. Woe to us, for we are spoiled. Now, you go down here, and it says in verse 20, destruction upon destruction is cried, the whole land is spoiled. Suddenly are my tents spoiled, my curtain in a moment. There's a sound of a trumpet and the alarm of war. Blow the trumpet in the land. And furthermore, he says, my people are sottish children. They have no understanding. What did Jesus say? When you see, know therefore and understand. They are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge. They're not wise. The wise shall understand. Daniel said that. But he said, I beheld the earth, and lo, it was without form and void, and the heavens, and they had no light. Why? Because the king of the north came like a whirlwind to destroy. The king of the north came like a whirlwind, Babylon. I beheld the mountains, and lo, they trembled, and the hills moved lightly. I beheld, lo, and there was no man, and the birds of heaven were fled. I beheld the fruitful place. It was a wilderness. The cities thereof were broken down at the presence of the Lord by his fierce anger. Do you guys understand the cities are broken down? Now let's just go down to Revelation 16 for a sec. And again, let me bring you to this. It says the great city was divided into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell. The great city. Let's make it great again. Make Babylon great again. Make America great again. And great Babylon came in remembrance before God, to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. And every island fled away. The mountains were not found. What were we just reading in the book of Jeremiah chapter 4? The same exact thing. But what does it connect to? It connects to a threefold union, just as Ellen White connected it to the threefold union. In Matthew 24, the abomination of desolation, so does this connect to the threefold union. And you go to chapter 17 and verse 16, and it says, the 10 horns which you saw upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked. They're going to strip her clean. And they're going to violate her, fornicate with her. And church and state union, the 10 horns, the kings of the earth, that's what the 10 horns are, verse 12, right? The 10 horns are kings, 10 kings, which receive no kingdom yet. These are going to have power with the beast and with the woman. They're going to make her desolate. She is the mother of abominations, the mother of harlots and abominations. And there is an abomination that make it desolate. And it has to do with church and state union. And it's right in our faces right now. It's spoken of by Daniel the prophet. The king of the north is getting chariots, horsemen, and many ships. He's going to gather the armies of the earth. And he's going to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. This is what we're watching right now. It's all taking place before our eyes. And God willing, our eyes are being opened. Our eyes are being opened. God willing, the people in the general conference that are all asleep right now, their eyes are going to start to be open. They're being opened by what's happening with Conrad Vine and Ron Kelly and all the stuff happening in there. They can see that the general conference is united with the United Nations. They can see that ADRA has united with US aid, and they're making war again. They're on the same side as Babylon to enforce the climate agenda, to bring to pass these things. And it's no different than one of her daughters, apostate Protestant America. It's working with them. And this is what's about to happen. We're about to watch this end, this destruction. And it's about to take place. Burn her with fire. What happened in 70 AD to Jerusalem? It was burnt with fire. What's going to happen to Babylon at the end? It's burnt with fire. What's the call? Flee out of Judea, 70 AD. What's the call? Flee out of the midst of Babylon, because she's fornicating with the kings of the earth. Church and state is united right now, and there's a call, come out of her, my people. May God give us the discernment and the eyes to see, and may he also give us the heart that has a love for the brothers and sisters around us, so that we can call them out of Babylon, to come out of her, my people, before it's too late, to go and share these messages far and wide, so that people will wake up. And I understand that not everybody wants to hear it. A lot of people want the peace and safety message. They want to be secure. They don't want to hear things like this, but I can tell you it's going to hit them. It's going to hit them in the head so hard that they're going to wish they knew about it before it came to pass, because God gave them prophecy to take heed. Prophecy is given to take heed. Prophecy is given as a warning. I told you things to come so that you might take heed. Flee out of Judea. That's the instruction. Take heed. Flee out of Judea. Come out over my people. Come out of the cities. They're all gathering with the kings of the earth. They're uniting, and they're going to destroy God's people. There's a CBDC coming, guys. They're working together with the Catholic Church, Donald Trump, Kevin Roberts, Pete Hegseth, Oracle, Elon Musk. They're all working together. They're all on one team. Babylon, Team Babylon, making war with Team Jerusalem above, which is the mother of us all, as the Bible says in Galatians 4:26, Zion. Anyways, I'm going to close with that. And if there's any questions or comments, you guys are welcome to share here. We're going to have we can have an after meeting in the Zoom room. And if you want to join us, if you're on YouTube or whatnot, you can join us on Zoom. And if you want to add a comment, the microphone is open. You just have to raise your hand when you come in the room. And you can share comments, you can ask questions, and you can be part of our after meeting here. Because, we want to encourage each other. We want to edify, as it says, prophecy is given for edification. These are things to edify the church, right? So these things are all given to prepare us as well for what is coming. Anyways, I'm going to pray. Heavenly Father, we just want to thank you so much for your word. Your word is amazing. It's true. It's told us all these things before they come to pass. Father, without you, we can do nothing. Without you, we know nothing. But you've told us things like about the abomination of desolation, the 10 horns, making her desolate, the prophecy of Daniel, the king of the north, and Jeremiah and Daniel, and also that this was evil appearing out of the north was our sign to flee out of the cities. And Father, you've given us many, many warnings. I pray, Father, everybody's hearing, everybody's eyes are being opened, and also, Father, that we are following in the Lamb whithersoever he goeth, and trusting that he is guiding us in the right direction. We thank you, Father, in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, guys. So, again, if you want to join us on Zoom, I'm going to give people a minute to join us. And I see a hand up. I'm going to come back to the hands here in 1 second. But before I do, just give me one.